To the beat, y'all. To the beat, y'all. To the beat, y'all. To the beat, y'all.
Well, good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 7 minutes past the hour on this 6th day of October. Make it happen Monday, the first of the week, the beginning of a new work week. It's your early morning. Get up, wake up, wake up. What hour of inspiration, motivation, information, conversation that promotes elevation. Yours truly, Joe Dupree, in the building. How you doing on this morning? We're broadcasting live on Facebook Live, Twitter Live, also on Instagram. You can catch us on all three platforms at the JDMS. We are broadcasting also on YouTube Live, and you can catch us on YouTube at 100 BLK Media. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of you as you begin to tune in, log in, and get your Monday morning started the right way. In the news, the government shutdown shows no end in sight. You ain't feeling it yet, but you about to. And when the American people start feeling the pressure and the stress and I don't know if this is going to happen, that is going to happen from this government shutdown, we're going to see will folk come together and try to get their stuff together to get this government up and running. Once again, if you look at the numbers, and I just don't understand why nobody looks at the numbers, the conservative Republican Party runs the White House. They run the Senate and they run Congress. If they can pass bills like the big, beautiful bill without any help from anybody on the other side of the aisle that belong to the Democratic Party, then how is it that they cannot come together and get this government up and running? That's my question. If you can pass a bill and you don't need no help from the other side, then you don't need no help from the other side getting this country back up and running, in my humble opinion. You didn't need their help passing the bill, so why you need their help getting the budget to get the country up and running? Somebody riddle me this, riddle me that, and explain that one to me. Just explain it to me. That's all I'm asking. Good morning, good morning, good morning, family. I see you logging in. Good morning, Willie Pickens. Good morning, Brother Gervis Williams. Good morning, good morning. Good morning to everybody who's out there. I have a simple question. And I ask this question from time to time, but I'm going to ask it on this Monday again. Do you feel like you're better off today than you were 3 years ago? Do you feel like when you go to the grocery store, when you pay your mortgage, when you pay your utility bills, when you get your check from the place that you are employed by, should you be employed, do you feel like you're better off today than you were 3 years ago, 3, 4 years ago? If you're out there shopping for a job, a car, do you feel like you're paying less? And do you feel like your check is going further? How do you feel right now? Since it was said that everything would be so much better, how do you feel right now? How do you feel right now? And family, pay attention, pay attention. I don't want to get too deep into too much, but of course, in the sports world, and we'll probably talk about that at the bottom of the hour with Elijah Nixon. You know, people are talking about the Kyron Lacey situation here in Louisiana. The city that I live in, Lafayette, Louisiana, is the city that he played his high school football in. Family, we just got to pay attention. I think too much of us are being distracted by too much, and we should not let these distractions pull us away from what is best for first yourself. See, a lot of you trying to save everybody but yourself. Stop trying to be the next social media sensation. Stop trying to save the world. Stop trying to save other folks. First, you got to save yourself. That's why in the airplane, they say, should there come a depressurization of the cabin, there will be some masks that will fall down. First, you need to put your own mask on. Don't be putting everybody else's mask on in the gate, putting on yours, because they'll be alive and you'll be dead. And whatever it was that you were supposed to be doing, you can't do when you're no longer here. So first person you need to take care of is yourself. And after you take care of yourself, begin to take care of those things around you that you care about, those things that you love, your family. And once you get your house and your family in order, then start branching out and making sure that maybe your neighbors and people on your street. See, it starts small and then it begins to widen out. But none of this can happen if you don't take care of yourself. 12 minutes past the hour. Sixth day of October. Before you know it, family, you're going to blink and 2025 is going to be out the door. Yeah. You're going to blink. It's going to be out the door. It's going to be gone. It's going to be over. It's going to be a new year. Now, even though you should always have prudent planning toward what is on the horizon, don't negate what's right now looking toward the future, because the future is promised to no man or woman, and you don't know what's coming, or will you even be here to enjoy what's coming, because you here today, gone tomorrow, and tomorrow may not come. There are truly some folks who wish they had woke up today, that did not wake up today and was not planning on that day that they didn't wake up coming. And that day will come to all of us. There will come a day, no man knows the time, not the hour, that you won't be here anymore. Won't be here anymore. So all I can say is live your best life. Live your best life. Live your best life. Congratulations to all the football teams that won. Congratulations to all the football teams in the NFL that won. If your collegiate team played this weekend and they won, congratulations to them also. If you were like myself and your team took a pause, a lot of teams I got love for took a pause this weekend in collegiates. And there were some good college games also. In the pro line, looked like the Dolphins won again. That's probably why I'm not seeing Brother Bowtie. He's probably still celebrating another Dolphins win. And Them Cowboys won. So that's why I keep hearing somebody tell me it's about to, hey, somebody told me they're going to the Super Bowl. I've been hearing this since 9-4. They're going to the Super Bowl again. Never know, it could happen. Never know, it could happen. Never know, it could happen. All I got to say is, family, hey, this weekend, and I need to show this. I need to show what I call trail ride behavior. There was a great trail ride this weekend, and even though there might have been a few issues at the trail ride, nobody got shot, nobody got injured, nobody got shot or weapon, or nobody got shot. Let's just call it that. Let's just call it what it is. Nobody got shot. At any time, nobody gets shot when there are large crowds of us gathering together. I got a smile on my face, because there sometimes will be issues, but long as nobody got shot. So I see what brother said. I'm not better off today than 2-3 years ago, because I'm on a fixed income. No more overtime. Man, I'm sorry to hear that, brother. And how is the government shutdown affecting some of you? That's what I want to know. I want to know, how is the government shutdown affecting some of you? I have friends that work for the TSA, FAA, other government agencies. I know they're working right now and they're not getting a check. Some of them have been furloughed. Some of them have been told, don't come into the office, do your work from home. And I think this is an opportunity that, even though a lot of folks are not talking about it a great deal, because understand why the government is shut down. The government is shut down because the Republicans want you to believe that they have no control over the Democrats and the situation with the Affordable Health Care Act, ACA, better known to most folks as Obamacare. And of course, carrying the name Obama with anything around Trump probably infuriates him. If it was Trump care, they probably, I promise you, wouldn't be trying to dismantle it. The Democrats, for once, are standing firm, saying, no, this big, beautiful bill that you passed will dismantle health care for people as we know it. The average Joe and Jane American citizen who is already struggling, because some are on fixed income, some are on government assistance. And listen, if you're on government assistance right now, you really should be worried, because the government is shut down. So if your check doesn't come, or you have an issue with any of the assistance that you are receiving from the government, there's probably no one to answer your question right now, nor anyone to tell you when relief is in sight. Pay attention. They gave P. Diddy 4 years. I want that to resonate in your spirit for a minute, because we pay attention to that. We pay attention to that. We pay attention to the 4 years they gave P. Diddy. Don't be distracted. Please do not have any distraction whatsoever. What they did was set a precedent. Because you got to understand what they gave him 4 years for. They gave him 4 years, and he was convicted for soliciting prostitution. Now, regardless of what the judge said or how he talked about the abuse and all, that wasn't what he was convicted of. He was convicted of, quote unquote, and as we would say it in the slang in our community, he was convicted for buying coochie. 4 years. Remember that, because I'm pretty sure somebody else will be arrested. Not for the Diddy thing, but for solicitation of prostitution. And you'll be like, my God, they gave them a lot of years. Well, they got the presidents now. They gave Diddy 4. And once it's like anything, once they said it and they did it to somebody, they can do it to somebody else. That's why you got to pay attention. That's why you got to pay attention with what's going on in Portland. You got to understand why the judge said, no, wait a minute. I understand that there's protests, peaceful protests. Now, once again, peaceful protests might be questioned by some folks because they might show you folks that they feel like are not peaceful at some of these ICE facilities that are in Portland, Oregon. But he said that does not warrant the president using his executive power to deploy military forces into Portland. Because understand, the military is trained one way. The military is trained in the art of war, not the art of policing citizens. Excuse me. They're not. Those are just the facts. From a person who has been on both sides. What you are trained as a soldier, a sailor, an airman, a Marine, you are not trained as a policeman. Believe it or not, police are held to a higher level and standard when it comes down to rules of engagement. That's for y'all to think about. And once again, I'm not here to tell you what to think, how to think, but I am here to tell you to think. That's why, as I know, as we begin to move forward and when sports come up, if Elijah jumps in here on sports and we begin to talk about this Kyron Lacy situation, along with all the games that happened this weekend, I'm not here to pass judgment on nobody. I don't know. However, with what Kyron Lacy's attorney has presented, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right. I posted the video on my social media feed of Kyron's mother speaking about her son, and my heart went out to her. My heart went out to her. Like, oh my God. And I understood that I think that woman has every right in the world, along with her family, pursue whatever reparation, whatever she feel is due her and her family because of this awful debacle. And with that being said, that's why I always talk about these two words, responsibility and accountability. See, it's good to have these things right here. These things are awesome. These mics are awesome, but some folks can be quite reckless on these mics. It's good to have these platforms that we can broadcast and we can speak our minds and we can say in our opinion. But we have to understand there are folks who will take what we say and run with it and not vet it, and then put young men and young women, because they are committing suicide on a daily basis. Look at how many folks committed suicide yesterday. You know, they have a counter out there that does that. They have a counter out there that you can literally look and see how many people committed suicide daily. Hello, my friend. Hola, ¿cómo está? Hey, I got that in. I got that in. Get Google Translate. You can catch the whole show. It will literally tell you what we're saying. Good morning, my friend from Honduras. So, family, time to get up, wake up, and pay attention. Pay attention. It's 24 minutes past the hour. You know, curious about what happened with Mark Sanchez and his situation in the NFL, but we'll probably talk about Mark Sanchez, Kyron Lacy, keep you up with what happened in the NCAA this weekend and NFL. Getting ready for Monday Night Football tonight. Man, all I can say is listen. Listen, family, listen. We got to pay attention. Because I feel like this is all a big distraction. First of all, the government shutdown has now given them carte blanche to fire whoever they want to in the government because they can say, hey, we shut down, we can't fund it. So now some of these Project 25 things that were on the list to get rid of to make the government smaller, more efficient, more friendlier to conservative think tanks and conservative watchdog groups. Now you can do it legally because the government is shut down. And they tried to tell you that the reason they shut the government down is because the Democrats want to fund illegal immigrants with health care. That is the furthest from the truth ever. But that's what they do. They give you a very small portion of the truth, and they say, watch this. This is what we're saying. When that's really not what's happening. While on the other side, the millionaires and billionaires are getting tax cuts that the average Joe Schmo couldn't get if he tried. We are literally in a time where the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. And let me say something, and God bless a man that I have a lot of respect for. I see he jumped on in Chicago, Brother Pugh. Shame on the black church that we're not mobilizing, conversating, and getting our people ready for the next evolution and the next revolution. Because let me tell you something. If you don't change and evolve, you become extinct. And too many of us are buried in the old ways of doing things, and we have our own bully pulpits that we can speak life into our people from. Not all of you, but a great number of you are too busy pulpit pimping, trying to get a bigger house, a bigger Mercedes, trying to get a bigger edifice than you are trying to help your people elevate their mindsets to a place where we can be who we were born to be, the chosen people. Good morning, family. Just good morning. Good morning, everybody who's logging in. Tell a friend to tell a friend, share this with a friend. It's JD Live, hashtag truth be told. Your early morning, get up, wake up. And listen to my Divine Nine brothers and sisters, to my Masonic brothers and sisters. We've got an obligation to start educating our people on more than trying to bring them into our organizations. We got a obligation to let them know where we came from and where we're not going back to. See, when you become lackadaisical and sleep on the job, other folks are making moves. That's why, and God forbid, but this happens. That's why people can compare MLK Jr. to CK. So, Sports has just reached out to me, and let's see what Sports is saying. Okay. Elijah will not be in today because he's just made it back in from South Kakalaki, and he'll be back tomorrow, and we'll have some sports tomorrow, and we'll talk about Kyron Lacy, Mark Sanchez, and we'll get you caught up with what happened with Monday Night Football, everything in football, and what's going on with the NCAA. So know that he will be on tomorrow. Today is JD Live. So eventually I'm solo bolo on this Monday for a reason, where I can say what I got to say, and ain't nobody got to feel like, oh, Joe done put me in some mess. No, I have spoken my truth and given my opinion, as many others do who have these microphones. I'm not here to talk bad about anybody. For, as I always say, I'm not here to tell you what to think or how to think, but I am telling you, you need to begin to think. You need to use that thing between those two ears and behind your eyes and understand that they, and who are they? Those who would oppose what is right, those who would oppose black and brown folks being on a level playing field with them, those who feel like America's not great unless America is back in a time when they feel like America was great. And when they say make America great again, y'all need to press some folks. Excuse me, what time in America are we talking about? That's to my black conservatives. That's to my white conservatives. That's to my MAGA movement. If we're going to make America great again, that means America cannot be great now. We're trying to make it great again. So what time are we talking about when America was great? I need to know, what time do you want to go back to when you feel, or your people feel, America was great? Please tell me when. Please tell me when. I need to know specifics. I don't need you just to broad brush this thing no longer. You say you want to make America great again? Okay. Tell me when. Tell me a specific date that you feel like America was great and why you want to go back to that time. I need to know. I'll wait. Somebody wake up a couple of these black conservatives. Tell them to come on here. Since we making America great again, I want to know when when are we going back to? Are we going back to when? When? Tell me when. Are we going back to slavery times? Are we going back post Civil War or pre-Civil War? What are we doing? Are we going back to the revolutionary days? Are we going back to the days of the Constitution? Come on, tell me something. Since y'all telling me that we need to make America great again, which connotates and denotates that America is not great now. What time period do we need to go to when you perceive that it was great? Understand, I'm not going to dilly-dally with these folks. I was listening to MSNBC and NBC where a guy says, well, it's not the Department of Defense no more. They're not defending nothing. It is the Department of WAR, war. And when I heard that, I started hearing in the background of my head, Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. Dun, 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 dun. I'm telling you, why can't we be friends? It is the Department of War. Pete Hegseth is not the Secretary of Defense. He is the Secretary of War. So, words carry meaning and power. So understand, there is a way, and there was a statement made. The current president that is sitting in the White House, President Donald J. Trump, said the following: vote for me this time and you'll never have to vote again. Is there a way that Donald Trump remains president after these 2 terms? Of course there is. The Constitution says if we're at war, a world war, the elections can be postponed. Some of y'all don't even read the Constitution. You know, I look back because I swore an oath to defend the Constitution and did it for 28 years of my life. I never read the Constitution. I swore an oath to get my college paid, to get some VA benefits. I did not read the document that I swore to protect with my life. And many of us don't do that. So I infer, before you encourage your child or your grandchild to join the military, ask them to read the document that they're about to swear an oath of allegiance to protect with their life. That if they need to, they swear and affirm that they will die in the protection of that document. They at least need to know what that document says. I'm just saying. and we need to pay attention. All my people who are logged in on YouTube, Instagram, all my people who are logged in on Facebook, good morning to you. It is a Monday. I am always happy when Monday comes because it is the beginning. That means something ended. And what ended was really a good week. I had a great week last week. I expect a better week this week. But in the ending of a thing comes the new birth of something else that can be greater than what was former. See, I got more years behind me than I do in front of me. And the mistakes of my past, those L's I took in the past, I'm turning them into lessons. Where as I move forward, there may be some discomfort, but it won't be what it used to be. And we have to take that knowledge that we have of what we endured in our past and pass it on to those who sit around us, who are in our bloodlines, our friendships, and our circles, so that those potholes that we ran into that knocked our vehicles completely out of alignment don't do it to them. Yeah. We've got to get to a place, in my humble opinion, that we love what is coming behind us so much that we do not want them to suffer one bit in the manner that we suffered as we made our ascension into adulthood, into womanhood, into manhood, into being. But some of y'all, not all of y'all, but some of y'all are so caught up in self that you want to see folks suffer because you had to suffer. I listen, to achieve what I have achieved, I don't want nobody to go through what I've went through. To be exact, I wish I could sit down, and I tried to do it all the time. I sit down with young journalists, young podcasters. I mentor people all the time and don't charge a dime. You know, right now there's a big argument going on throughout the school of scholars. And it's funny because Brother Pugh, who's on here, we talk about knowledge and passing on knowledge. Nothing needs to be given or bought. It has to be earned if it is to be appreciated, in my opinion. I have no problem. You know, a person called me and wanted me to make a comment about doctoral degrees. Well, I really can't make a comment right now because I am currently enrolled, going through the process of receiving my doctorate in criminal justice. It is not easy. It is not easy. It is costly financially. It is costly time, research, and I'm doing a full-time job or slash job. It's not easy. There are, even in this time, and I just started school in August, and this first semester is whooping my behind, but I'm sticking in there because I believe when it is all over, said and done, I will have achieved something for myself that I should have did years ago, but I was too busy being a good husband, being a good father, being good for everybody else but myself. And I had to get to a place where I had to say no more. Time for me to get what's mine before my expiration date comes forth. Because no matter how long I believe I'll be here, I won't be here forever. So I've stepped out. I'm in Walden University, and Walden University is no punk university. It's no, and when I say that, I ain't trying to say that in a manner to offend any community. I mean, it's not nothing. It's not no lollygolly lolly. I mean, hey, we in there and we getting it. There's 7 people in my class, 7 of us, and we catching, all 7 of us catching hell. I talked to one of my classmates this weekend, and I was like, how you doing? Tired. How you doing? Tired. The research is, in these days and times, with the ability to have access through the World Wide Web and through AI, to have access to stuff. Listen, the greatest thing that blessed my soul this first semester was Jimmy Kimmel getting fired. Because Jimmy Kimmel getting fired made me realize, to my professor, and big ups to Dr. Dunleavy. Dr. Dunleavy made it crystal clear. Most of us don't know the law. We know Facebook law, we know Instagram law, we know TikTok law. Because we get people on here who are lawyers, judges, former lawyers. We get people on here who tell us their interpretation of the law, but we don't read the law for ourselves. That's why most of you, no offense, ain't even picked this book up and read it one time, but y'all swear to God you're going to heaven. You ain't picked this book up one time, and read it for yourself. You haven't one time woke up in the morning and say, hey, let me read a little bit of this myself and ask. Somewhere in this book it says, ask, and ye shall be given. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and the door will be open. You ain't even read that, but you let somebody tell you that, and you run around and tell folks, man, I'm asking, I'm seeking, and I'm knocking. But you ain't read it for yourself. You don't even know. You presume to know that the person who told you what it said. Not understanding there is a whole bunch of stuff in front of that and a whole bunch of stuff behind it that is connected to it, that if you didn't read, you can ask, knock, and seek all you want to, and you will never find what you are looking for, because there are other instructions attached to it. You need to read that for yourself. And when you do make the decision, and I have nothing wrong with the Assembly of the Saints. The Assembly of the Saints and that building we call church is 2 different things. Message. You can't look at the new and throw away the old. Understand they work in conjunctions with one another. And please realize, I'm not putting up in here hooping and hollering. I'm not a preacher, a pastor, a bishop, an apostle, a prophet. I'm just a man. Who, if Sean P was here right now, I'm just a man who reads. I read for myself. I'm in the process of reading it all again. It is not easy. It's a good read, not an easy read. And it is a read that will make you pause and go back and read it again. So every time I try to get to the conclusion from Genesis to Revelation, somewhere I get stuck because I read something and I go, I really didn't get that. Maybe I need to read it again. And I start from chapter 1 and I begin to read again. How many of y'all have read that for yourself? Not listen to a person tell you what thus saith the Lord, but you read it for yourself and you said, oh, I read where he said that. We, no pun intended, got to do better. And stop being so distracted. You know, I am headed towards 60 years old. I'm not too far from there. And I pray that I get to see that glorious day that I turn 60. My next revolution, my turn around the sun will bring me to 59. At 59, I will see my youngest graduate high school and go into his level of maturity, adulthood, and manhood. That I can literally say I have children that are all grown. That the work I've done speak for me. Now, do I get along with all my children? Do we see eye to eye? No, we don't. Have I always been a ever-present father? No, I haven't. Do I have a lot of room for improvement? Yes, I do. And I have a grandson now, so I want to show him, hey, grandfather, this is the good, the bad, the ugly, but these are the L's that turned into the losses that turned into lessons that I want to show you, where when you begin to experience these things, you may not have to go through what I went through or what your mother went through or what your father went through. I want you to be so much better. And being better means I give you information that doesn't make me look so glorified, but tells you the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and puts you in a position where you can say, you know what? Papa went through that. Papa said that didn't come out good for him. Maybe I need to pump the brakes and kind of look at this from a different aspect, different perspective. See, once again, you can't be so selfish and so caught up in click, like, and share and wanting to be the next social media sensation that you negate to realize that what I do right here, and I don't care how many people come on or don't come on, I was called to do this. Mind you, I could right now, with my resources, with the people I know, I could be right now be doing a podcast, a 1-hour podcast of nothing but a whole bunch of people talking sex, money, dope, shaking ass, dancing, all kind of stuff. And I promise you, I will probably be one of the #1 content creators in the world. What profits a man? Somewhere I read, what profits a man to gain all the riches of this world, but to lose his soul. I ain't with that. That ain't what I was told to do. Now I can do it and get earthly rich and be heavenly poor. And some of y'all, that's what y'all about. Y'all want to be earthly rich and y'all could give less than a damn about what happens to your soul. I'm just not that person. For I believe, after I have read and I have studied, I believe that this is just temporary housing, and I've been through too much hell that I put myself through in this temporary housing to transition on to a place of eternal peace and rest, to only go through hell again because I put myself in a position where I can't see the glory of God. I'm going to hell. What you do now matters later. I'm going to say that one more again. What you do now matters later. Get yourself in order. I applaud those of you who maybe be in your 40s, 50s, maybe even in your 60s, because I have a classmate that is 63 years old. He is, along with myself, working to get her PhD where she can go and teach. She lives in Virginia. She said she will probably go and do some adjunct professor work, which she can do right now, but she wants to be doctoral status because she wants to do some teaching at some federal government agencies like myself. And she wants to go teach at my old alma mater. At my alma mater, not old. I was old a long time ago when I was there. But she wants to go and teach at Maryland. And she also has some opportunities to teach at some other places. So she's striving for more, to do better, to be better. Big ups to all of y'all who are out there doing it, because I know it's not easy. It's not easy, because after I get off this podcast, which I do daily, Monday through Friday, I'm on here for 1 hour because I know I heard from a higher power that told me, do this and do this and ask for nothing. So that's why you don't see me asking for stars. You don't see a little quotation when you click on this thing saying you can support me like this, because I'm not here to try to hustle you out of anything. I'm here to tell you 2 things. First, you need to pay attention. Second, you need to think. And I'm not telling you how to think or what to think, but you need to think. You were beautifully and wonderfully made. You, yes, you. And you by yourself is a force to be reckoned with. You don't need to be huddled up with other folk. By yourself, when you know self, understand self, and can project self, you can move mountains by yourself. You don't need nobody else except one person on your side. And when that person is on your side, I say it at the end of the show, when he be with you, who could be against you? Nobody. Nobody. He's the one that communicated to David and said, David, I understand you got a big army in front of you. I understand you got an uncircumcised Philistine in front of you who is huge. But if you just listen to me and put me first, I can give you a path to victory. One that might not look like a normal path to victory. But trust me in the process. See, a lot of you don't want to go through the process. Y'all don't understand. In order to get from point A to point B, there is a path that you have to take. And that path might not be straight. That path may not be easy. That path may be rocky and rough, and it might not always come out the way you want it to come out. And guess what? That path might not include a fine woman, a good-looking man, a big house, a lot of money, a nice luxury car. That path might include a lot of hardship, heartbreak, and heartache. Nobody said it would be easy. They just said it would be worth it. Just saying. Good morning, family. Welcome to JD Live, hashtag Truth Be Told, your early morning get up, wake up, wake up. And it's time for us as a people, black and brown folks, my brothers, my sisters, time for us to wake up. We've been asleep far too long. Far too long. 7 minutes to the top of the hour. I only stay here for 1 hour. I know a lot of you are getting the work week started. You're getting the kids out. Listen, school zones are in full effect, folk. Watch how you drive. Slow down. Still gonna be there when you get there. If you're a little late, get up a little earlier and start your journey off a little bit earlier. But don't get up late and try to rush through things, and then all of a sudden there's an accident, somebody gets hurt, you get hurt. Because it's temporary housing. Once it's done, it's done. I'm just saying. Family, you can follow us at the JDMS. We're at the JDMS on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, on YouTube, our YouTube channel, where you can go back and watch previous episodes of hashtag Truth Be Told, Community Conversations, and JD Live. We're at 100 BLK Media, or you can go to our website. Put that up there. It's up in www.thethe100blk.com. Not only can you go and look at prior episodes, we have 2 great digital radio stations that are broadcasted live on 100 BLK. One of them is 100 BLK, the Black station, which I am blessed to be a part of. Other one is Vibe 95, which if you're into Afro beats, and Afro beats is big, you'll definitely love the music. So you can jump on there. A lot of folks keep on asking me, am I going to bring back Praise 100? I'm working on it. I got a lot I'm got going on right now. Praise 100 is coming back. And we're going to continue to do what we do. 5 minutes to the top of the hour as we bring this thing to a close. Family, let me give y'all a few things. That is my opinion. A, don't let government shutdown, Diddy sentence, other stuff distract you from what should be important to you, your family, your household, and understand those are the first thing you need to get in order before you try to go out there and champion for your street, your community, your neighbor. See, make sure you got all your stuff in order and understand this. Everybody who's in your circle may not be in your corner. A lot of folks are only around you to see how you do it, where they can try to replicate what you do or get the contacts that you have and use those contacts for self and keep you out the picture. Folks are always scheming, plotting, and planning. Envy and jealousy is big in our community. And until we fix that, which I don't think we'll ever be able to fix it, just like the poor, they will be among us always. There will always be a hater. There will always be somebody jealous, envious of you. There's always somebody who gonna bring up all the stuff you did. They do it to me all the time. They can't figure out how I keep doing what I'm doing. I had a person tell me, man, wait a minute, you just graduated from FBI leader? How did that happen? How did it not happen? And when folks say stuff like that to you, you need to put down a mark by their name. You in my circle, but you ain't in my corner. Because that statement by itself means I never believed in you. And I'm really taking a quick jab at you to let you know that I don't think you earned that thing. And like I said, I was going to get into the conversation earlier about these degrees, about earned and honorary. However you get it, you have to be happy with how you got it. And as right now, Dr. Dunleavy tells me, you're going to have to argue your dissertation. You're going to have to argue your thesis. You're going to have to stand on what you wrote. So you can't get AI to do it. You got to be able that when you stand before other inspector generals, hint, hint, for some brothers out there with some red hats on, when you stand before some other cats who know it, you best know it too. Because if not, they're going to look at you and say, is that the right answer? Are you sure? Because when you begin to teach others, you have to know for yourself. That's why reading is fundamental and essential. Once again, I'm not here to talk about nobody and what they do. There's a big difference between the assembly of the saints and church. Read it for yourself. Most of us are going to, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not here to tell you what to think or how to think. Research it for yourself. Ask for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from the Most High to give you discernment on how to process what it is before you. And believe you me, got that from Louisiana. Believe you me, he will provide your every need when you humble yourself to ask and put yourself in a position to receive. All right, family, it's time for me to get up out of here. So let me say this like I say it every time. I need y'all on this Make It Happen Monday, 6th day of October, to be better today than you were yesterday. And I need you to do something today. Blesses somebody in some manner, some way, somehow, that there's no earthly way they could ever pay you back because you released it freely. For them to be better. And for you not to receive accolades or post it on Facebook, but for you know that you gave. For the greatest amongst you should be the one who gives, should be the servant Position yourself to be always of service and to serve. Always remember that there is no secret what God can do. What he has done for others, he willingly can do for you. For when God is with you, nothing, no one can stand against you. Be blessed. Have a great start to your work week. I'm up out of here. Peace.